People ask you, after you go the first time, no matter what age. Yeah, I went when I was a kid, so what is juvie like? What is jail like? What is juvie like? I went to juvie as a kid in Oregon in the early 2000s. I want to say like 2006. And for me, when I was 11 years old, 2005, 2006, when I went to juvie, it was tradition for the cops in the juvie to tell you about Angel. And if you're from Oregon and you've done time in Oregon, you know who Angel is. And it's crazy because I'm not lying to you. They tell you Angel's the boogeyman. And when I was a kid, you would go to juvie and you'd be sitting there eating dinner, trying to hang out in juvie, and they tell you, but you keep it up, you're going to go to prison, you're going to meet Angel. And you'd be like, who the hell is Angel? And they'd be like, Angel's this gay dude that's in prison, in Oregon State Prison. He'll knock you out and suck your dick. And it's like, I think back to it back then when I was a kid, like, he's the boogeyman. It's like, there's no way this guy's real. He's the boogeyman. And when you're a kid in juvie, you're just hanging out, trying to be cool, maybe arguing and fighting with the cops. Maybe you end up doing time going to, like, youth corrections. And you get kind of tough. Like I did. I learned how to fight. I didn't want to, but I had to. I got bullied because I was a white kid with the crooked eye from a small town. And so for me, it was like I had to learn to fight. I had to learn to be tough. I had to learn to put my foot down, and it's affected me my whole life. I'm kind of a mean motherfucker sometimes, and it gets me a whole lot of nowhere, a lot. And then you go to adult jail, and it all depends, like if you've done time or not. For me, when I went to adult jail, I seen the youngsters that were my age. I was 19 my first time, and there were other people 19, 20 years old. It was their first time doing time at all, and they were just kicking it, having a good time. And it's fucked up to say people had a good time in jail, because when you're in jail, people, for the most part, get sober, and you get to see who people really are. I had a really decent friend named Corey DeVoe, or something like that, Corey DeVoe, something like that. I met him in Astoria when I was 19, that very first time I was in jail, and he's like my jail brother. It's funny because he's in jail every time I was in there with him. We were buddies a couple times, and we were buddies. And then I got out one time and decided to try and stick around and follow my probation, and stayed in the shelter in the area, and he was there. And while he was at the shelter staying clean and sober, we were homies, he's cool. But then as soon